This is the video lesson for 8.10a. Your objective today is to generalize the properties of orientation and congruence of rotations, reflections, translations, and dilations of two-dimensional shapes on a coordinate plane. Okay, that sounds like it's saying a lot. So, generalize just means to come up with a general idea of what happens. Orientation, this means how it's turned. Which way is it facing? And then congruence means, is it the same size? And then rotations, let's take a few notes here. A rotation is a turn, so we turn the figure. A reflection is a flip or a mirror image. Okay, so however you like to think of that, either flipping the shape or like looking at it in a mirror. A translation is a slide, and a dilation is an enlargement. So we either enlarge it or shrink it. So just a couple of little hints. I'm sure you've seen these before. But rotation, T for turn. Reflection, F for flip. Translation, SL for slide. And then we have to remember that a dilation is where an image either gets bigger or smaller. So let's start looking at some of these. Number 3, Barbara drew her initial onto the coordinate grid below. So B for Barbara. If you look closely here, you can see that she drew a B, capital B. Which of these shows Barbara's initial reflected over the y-axis? So we're talking about a reflection. It's going to be a flip or a mirror image. It's reflected over the y-axis. So we need to know what the y-axis is. The y-axis is right here. Okay, so I'm going to make this as dark as I can here. And you should be doing this on your paper too, drawing a line through the y-axis. This would be our mirror, which means that if it's reflecting over the y-axis, it's going to end up flipping from here all the way over to here. So I often think of a reflection as crossing the street. So if this is your street, then you're going to end up equally on the other side of the street. So that means that her shape would have to be, let's see, the line would be 1, 2, 3, 4 away. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This would be the line of the B. And then it's going to go like this. Oops, and I did that a little bit wrong, but you get the idea. So that means I need to look here and see which one it is. Okay, this is just a translation. This is just going scooting that way, sliding. This one would be a rotation because it would be turning that direction. And this would be a dilation because it started out small and then it got big. So C is going to be our answer. So now I'd like for you to do number 4 and number 5 on your own. And after each one, bring it to me for your stamp before you go on and continue the video. So make sure that I really don't want you doing the whole assignment and then bringing it to me for stamps. I know that sometimes that can be easier, but my concern with that is that if you get something wrong or if you forget how to do something, then I would rather catch it early on. So please bring it to me right after you've done number 4 and number 5 so I can stamp those before we go on with the video. So please pause the video now and do number 4 and number 5. Now that you have stamps for number 4 and number 5, let's look at number 7 together. Which set of ordered pairs represents the 3 vertices of figure A reflected across the y-axis? So reflected across the y-axis. If we were going to reflect across the x-axis, that would be right here. And our figure would end up flipped over here. But we're reflecting across the y-axis. So first, let's go through and really make a noticeable line here to show that that's our reflection line. That's where our mirror is. And remember, it's reflected, which means that it's going to end up the same distance away from the axis, but on the other side. So here we have a figure that's up 2, but it's 3 away, it's 3 to the left of the y-axis. So it's still going to be up 2, but now it's going to be 3 places to the right of the y-axis. So here this was 3 away, so this has to be 3 away. Then we go another 4 away. So 1, 2, 3, 4 away. And we should be able to eyeball this and tell, okay, yes, it's the same distance away. And then the same thing up here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 up. And then we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the left. So this needs to be 5 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right. It goes right here. And we should have the exact same triangle flipped over. Now notice I did not just scoot it, okay? This vertex has now become this vertex. So the one that's farthest away is still farthest away. The one that's closest is still closest. So just notice that so we don't confuse it with a translation. So now this point would be 3, 2. Okay, so I have 3, 2 here and here. But I don't have a 3, 2, and here I don't have a 3, 2. So I'm going to get rid of those. Okay, so this is 3, 2. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2. So 7, 2 is right here. And that one doesn't have 7, 2. But let's double check. This one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's there. So this is correct. Now we have to be careful and remember that we always go right and left and then up and down when we're naming points. Let's do number 10 together as well. Number 10 says, a quadrilateral ABCD has these coordinates, and it tells us the coordinates. The quadrilateral is translated, okay, so a translation is a slide, translated 6 units to the left and 3 units down. So we're going to be translating it 2 different ways. And we want to know what are the coordinates of A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime. So they've given us a blank coordinate grid here. We need to go ahead and plot the original points so that we can translate them. So let's look really closely here. Get this as big as I can for you. Okay. A, B, C, D. Let's say A is -2, 4. So I'm going to go -1, -2, and then up 4. So this is A. Then we have 4, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then up 6. So that's B. This is going to be A, B. C is 7, -2. So we go to 7 and down to -2. It's kind of hard to tell because this is -1 right here, but it's kind of covered up. The line is covered up, so be really careful. That's C. And then D is -3, +1. So this is D. So this is our shape. And if we had a ruler handy, we could easily connect these dots. Go ahead and connect them the best you can. Feel free to use the edge of your folder or something. Okay, that is our original figure, A, B, C, D. But now we need to translate it. So each one of these points is going to be scooted 3 units to the left, 6 units to the left, and 3 units down. So let's start with A. 6 to the left, so I'm going to start where A is. I'm moving this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then down 1, 2, 3. So this is A prime. And I'm going to look here and I see that A prime is -8, 1. So I can already say, all right, well that's not -8, 1. And that's not -8, 1. And that's not -8, 1. So already I've probably narrowed it down to G. But we're going to finish the problem, so let's double check. Okay? Because in case I made a mistake on this one, I don't want this to ruin my whole answer. B needs to go to the left 6, so 1, 2, okay, and I don't count this. This is 0, so I'm going to go 1. That's 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, counting very carefully. And then down 1, 2, 3, and this is B prime. And I look at that and I see it's -2, +3. And look, there's B, -2, +3. So far so good. C now, we start here and then we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the left, and then down 1, 2, 3. This is C prime. So that's 1, -5, and we're good on that one. And then D goes 1, 2, oops, let me start back at D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3 down. And that's D prime. And I see that that's -9, -2, which is correct. So we are good to go here. If I connected all these dots, I would get the same shape, the same size and everything. It is congruent, and it has just been scooted left and down. So now I would like for you to do number 10 and number 15 on your own. I'm sorry, number 9 and number 15. On number 9, you're going to do the same thing we did here. You're going to show the original points, so graph those and combine them to make your figure. And then you're translating it 5 units to the left and 2 units up. So show how you move each point. And then off to the side, we can write A, B, C, D. So here's what that should look like. Let's go ahead and zoom this out a little bit. Over to the side, let's go ahead and say A prime is this, and B prime, C prime, and D prime. And give me the coordinates there. Then on number 15, you actually have 2 different things to do. It says that it's going to be reflected across the y-axis, across the x-axis. So this is your mirror right here. So I need you to show me what that new figure looks like once it's been reflected up here, and then followed by another reflection across the y-axis. This should say y-axis, so please change that for me. First, we're going to reflect it across the x-axis and draw that, and then reflect it across the y-axis and draw that. Once you have both of those drawn and labeled, then you will be able to pick the final points of A and B. Once you've completed those, please bring them to me for a stamp. And then I should also be able to record your grade for this assignment, which is 8.10A.